episode for you guys. Obviously, the biggest night in boxing happened this past Saturday. Spence, Crawford, amazing bout. Honest to God, I cannot believe what had happened. I really can't. Crawford beating Errol Spence the way he did, the ugliness that Errol Spence left with. He just looked absolutely god awful. I feel so bad for Earl. I thought he was going to win coming into this. Wrong. Terrence Crawford this is the second undisputed, the second time where he has all four belts in a division. He is the number one pound for pound boxer, in my opinion, the number one boxer in the world, and he should be considered a Hall of Famer. I think he needed this fight to prove that he was a Hall of Famer. He got it. He is now officially a Hall of Famer. No matter what happens in a rematch, the fact that Terrence Crawford put Earl through so much pain and so much hurt that, honest to God, I thought they should thrown in the seventh round the towel. I think they let it go too long to go 9 rounds. He didn't deserve to go 9 rounds, Earl. I'm glad that he tried to stick it out, but he was just getting hit with everything in the kitchen sink by Crawford. I think Crawford kind of let up when he saw that he was just beating him so bad. And I just think it was unbelievable fight. It was unbelievable pace that Crawford was at. He was absolutely in control the entire fight, knew how he wanted to hit Earl, and Earl didn't move his head well enough at all to prove that he is a great, great champion. I do believe Earl will, in the rematch, do well, much better. I think it will go all 12 rounds this time. And I'm gonna have to say, because I saw what Terrence Crawford did, I think Terrence Crawford will win again, but in a much closer bout. I think Earl will come out there, not letting Terrence get into a rhythm early, and be able to land some big shots. But I don't think it'll be enough to beat Terrence Crawford. I think Terrence Crawford just showed why he is who he is, and the power, the accuracy, and the speed are all just hands down better than Earl right now. And Earl has just so much he has to do to try and get himself back. I love to see Terrence then, after, if he beats Earl again, fight a Charlo brother. I think that's a big time fight. Or if he wants to defend his 4 belts with Jerron Boots Ennis again, that would be an amazing fight. I think Boots Ennis would absolutely love to step up to the challenge, is ready to step up to the challenge, and will deliver a great, great fight with Terrence Crawford. Also on this card, Isaac Cruz, amazing job beating Giovanni Cabrera. He hit him with everything in the kitchen sink. Cabrera stood up to it like a man. He looked him in his eyes, and he went toe-to-toe with him. I love the fact that he did that. To me, that shows big heart and big ability to look. Did Isaac Cruz now deserves to fight Gervonta Tank Davis again in a rematch? I think it would absolutely sell numbers and do well. And I do believe that is the fight to make there. The biggest surprise was Nonito Donaire losing to Alejandro Santiago. He just looked old, slow, and Alejandro Santiago looked the young Mexican that he was, and he just showed that he was the better fighter tonight, and he was the champion. I mean, he ended up winning the championship belt off Nonito Donaire. But so those were some great, great boxing there. This upcoming week, we have Earosandi Lara versus Danny Garcia. So make sure to watch that fight. That is going to be an excellent, excellent fight for you guys to see. That one, I believe, is going to be on ESPN. I could be wrong. It could be on DAZN. But I believe it's on ESPN. But it is absolutely the one to have. I think it is a great matchup for the middleweight title. I'm surprised Danny's moving up so much weight to end up fighting him. I was definitely expecting him to stay at junior middleweight at 154 instead of moving up to 160. 160 is a little heavy there. but I think this could be something very interesting for everyone to see. It's in Brooklyn. Oh, I'm sorry, Showtime. It is a Showtime event. I don't know why I thought Danny was on either Diaz or ESPN, but no, he is with Showtime. I forgot. And he always fights in New York or Philadelphia, so I knew that was the fight was going to be in Brooklyn. Oh, it's going to be at a catch weight of 155. I'm sorry, it is a catch weight fight. I'm surprised that this is a catch weight fight because it says for a middleweight title, which is at 160. And I know Danny Garcia has been fighting at 154, so the 155 limit is understandable because that is anywhere from 155 to 160 is the limit. But it is a catchweight fight for a title, so I am extremely interested to see how this bout goes. I think this is going to be a great fight for Danny Garcia to show if he can be a middleweight titleist. He only moved up, I think, to get a title because he knew he couldn't fight the Charlo, so that eliminated titles there. So he had to move up to do so. I think this is going to be a great fight for Danny Garcia. I see him winning against Lara. I don't think he has the knockout power that he used to have. He's very inactive fighter. He only fights every once in a while. So I think Lara being at 40, and I think Danny being younger is just going to give him the advantage and the win there. By decision, I think it is going to be a close fight, good fight to see because they both do throw. I love to see it. Like I said, Cuban versus Puerto Riqueño. So it's going to be an awesome Spanish fight. Make sure to stay tuned for Showtime there at the Barclays Center for the WBA title that's on the line between Lara and Danny Garcia. Now, the fight that a lot of people are wondering if he can come back from after losing to a professional boxer, and that is going to be Jake Paul and Nick Diaz. This is going to be on ESPN. This is going to be a catchweight fight. Manuel Serrano is going to be on the undercard fighting and defending her title, so that's the true fight I want to watch, but I know this is the fight that a lot of people are going to go ahead and look at. It's at the cruiserweight, catchweight of 185. It is Nate Diaz, Jake Paul in Dallas, Texas. It is going to be an August 5th fight, which is, like I said, the same time as Lara and Danny Swift Garcia at 8 p.m. It is going to be electric probably in that arena, I'm going to guess. Now that Paul has went ahead and changed trainers and has decided to go with someone else as his trainer. And it talks there, we had Shane Mosley, Jillian Love, and Theo Chambers as his new training coaches there, and definitely going to be his new people in his corner to see if he can elevate and get back to his winning ways after losing earlier this year in February to Tommy Fury. We are seeing him against Nate Diaz, another UFC fighter, which I kind of figured he was going to go back to after losing to a professional boxer. I see this as not even as too much of a competition. I see Jake Paul winning this within the first 6 rounds. He knocks out Nate Diaz. I don't see Nate Diaz coming from MMA to this. I get it. He used to be a street fighter and he loved to strike. That was his thing in MMA. But it's different in boxing. Boxing, the hands constantly have to be running. And you got to have defense. You got to have swift movements. You got to have angles. You got to have timing. These are all things you really kind of didn't have to have when you're in MMA. These are all things you have to be constantly, always cognizant of when it comes to boxing. And your hands have to be up at all times. Didn't have to be like that in MMA. So again, those are big differences there. Jake Paul, Nate Diaz this Saturday. I got Jake winning by knockout within the first 6 rounds. But let me know your comments down below and what fight you guys are interested in seeing, the Lara fight or the Jake Paul and Nate Diaz fight, and which one and who do you think is going to be winning these bouts. I'll see you guys in the next one.